people of Pacific Northwest Bell, with products and services above and beyond the call.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Husky football. As I'm sure most of you know by now, Washington defeated Oregon State by a score of 34-7 yesterday afternoon in a wild football game that had just about anything you'd ever want to see. The Huskies had 11 penalties called against them. They fumbled the football 7 times. It was tied 7-7 at the half. It was an incredible game, and I think that second quarter was something that Husky fans are going to talk about, good and bad, for a long time. Why all the fumbles in the ball game, and again, why all the penalties?
Well, you just ruined my day, Bruce. I mean, you come out with 18 mistakes, and I thought we were going to have something positive in the game. Now, we were guilty of a lot of holding calls. There's no question about it. We were just a little too sloppy with our hands. I think when you run a play or throw a pass, if you wanted to be get the magnifying glass out against any team, you could probably find a hold because of the way the rules are, and it's really difficult to block. I don't care whether you use our rules or the old rules or whatever it is, but I'm much more disappointed in the fumbles. We were fumbling in the backfield. We had a couple contact fumbles, but just you can't be a good football team. You can't expect to win football games if you're making those kind of mistakes. That's 18 pretty major mistakes.
But you got away with it. You won the football game. We'll be back with the opening kickoff and show you what happened yesterday right after this. Oregon State wins the toss. They elect to receive, and Jeff Jaeger just drills it into the end zone. You get off to a good start.
There's a little breeze blowing left to right, and Jeff gets good hang times, so he's not going to have any problem getting it in the end zone.
1st and 10 at the 20 for Oregon State. McKendrick, the young kid who was just a walk-on, comes in to play quarterback, and a rude awakening for him.
Well, we've got pretty good coverage, and of course we've only got a 4-man rush, but a lot of times they work hand in hand. The good coverage, no place to throw, and I'm sure he's a little tentative, throwing for the first time. His own 20, he wants to protect the football. And there you see Stuart Hill and Dean Browning throwing him for a 6-yard loss.
So 2nd and 16 now for Oregon State at the Oregon State 14. The game just underway. Oglesby, what a good runner he is for 4. Watch this.
Got a lot of power and quickness, and this is a draw play, and this has been a very big play for Oregon in their attack, but fortunately we played it fairly well.
3rd and 12 at the 14. McKendrick going to throw, knocked away by Vince Albritton. Pretty good defensive play.
We had a blitz on. We were man-to-man, and Vince had good coverage.
Stepping to kick it away on 4th and 12, and Danny Green's going to lose 1.
35-yard kick. We had a middle return on, and he tried to get outside. I think if he'd have cut back inside, he might have had a little better chance.
Talk about a hole over the middle. Walt Hunt up the middle for 14 yards. We'll show you again.
Well, the offense and defense both started very well on the first play. The defensive sack, and here a 14-yard gain. Really not a lot of great blocks on the play. It was just one of those things. A little seam opened up.
1st and 10 at the 40. Jackson over the left side. Oh, there's nothing there.
We come back with a draw play, and like I say, they read it very well. Got off the blocks.
2nd and 10 at the 40. Huskies penalized for illegal procedure. Then Pallure throws to Roten on the outside for 9 yards. So that was on 2nd and 15. So it brings up now a 3rd and 6 at the 36.
Well, we're going to run our sprint out. It's we set up and show a drop back, and then we just sprint. And they've got good coverage, but Steve finds an opening, and with that corner sealed like it is, there's a lot of room to run. Steve picks up 11 yards.
We get to see it again here now in slow motion because, as you mentioned, he picks up 11 yards in the first down.
This was a big play in the Washington Redskins offense last year, and they call it a dash right and left. They just drop back, and then they cut the outside people and gives the quarterback a lot of time to run or throw.
And Pallure's been running with the football more than he has in the past, last 2 games. 1st and 10 now at the 25. And here comes Hunt again.
Another very well blocked play. We've got to replay this, and you'll see Cookie Jackson, our tailback, do an excellent job blocking their tackle. And it's reminiscent of the old Green Bay Packer sweep where the back had to go in and block, and there's Mallory pulling, and he does an excellent job. So 2 very fine blocks, and it sets up a 22-yard gain.
Takes the ball all the way down to the 3. The Oregon State 3, and you're making it look easy right now. 1st and goal at the 3. Cookie Jackson. Oh, so easy.
Yeah, we're getting good execution, and we're not getting fumbles yet, and we're not getting penalties. We get good blocks here. Dotson, Lutu, Mallory, and Maher all had good hits. There's Maher pulling. He's the backside tackle on the play, and we pull both the guard and the tackle.
So you just move right down the field. Jaeger adds the extra point. Washington 7, Oregon State nothing, and I think 59,000 people sat back and said, oh, this is going to be a pushover. There's going to be nothing there. But you can't believe what's going to happen here in about the next 18, 19 minutes. Jagger's going to kick it off again, clear out of the end zone.
Yeah, that was really a long kick there. He's got a good leg.
Now, how good's Oregon State? I mean, where do they stand? I mean, are they really as bad as their record indicates?
Well, I felt like they had really made some progress with their skilled players. That guy right there is a good player. He can run with anybody in the league. I think, again, if they'd had an experienced quarterback, would have really helped their offense. Now, this was a new play, a little slip screen, and they do a good job with it. This is Holmes picking up about 9 yards.
He takes the ball out to the 32. 1st and 10 for Oregon State at their own 32. Oglesby, and he's always tough, as you say. About 5'9½", and he weighs over 200 pounds.
Yeah, and he has excellent quickness. This here, the inside plays for Oregon State have been their lead plays, and I thought we did a good job. And here we got a safety blitz on, and McKittrick just saw the safety blitz. He had a pass, and he said, hey, I'm not going to go back and throw. I might as well run a quarterback sneak.
No gain, 3rd and 9 at the 33. McKittrick throwing over the middle. That should have been caught.
Yeah, he had that one right on the money, and you know, we've got Vince Albritton on coverage, but Laverty, I think, should have caught it, and I think he would admit that himself.
4th and 9. Watch what happens here. Driving kick at 33 yards. Green's going to take it and hit just as he gets the football. There is going to be a penalty, and we'll play it back now. Not enough room to catch the ball.
No, he's supposed to have 2 yards, and now you can see right now there's no 2 yards. And we put the rule in just to try and protect the punt returner, so we protect him from injury, and that's exactly why. That's a big hit, and it's totally unfair, I think, to the punt receiver, and it's a costly error on their part. Now we come right back, and Steve does not protect the football and fumble it right back to him.
Okay. Is that just protection of the football as you see this play again on Steve Pellure's part, the quarterback?
Well, Steve, you know, just has got to have a better awareness. You know, he knows he's got to scramble a little bit, and he can't carry the ball on his hip. He's got to lock it away. And I think what he was trying to do is scramble and find a little more time and still maybe throw the ball. But he's still, if people are around him, he's got to protect it. There, Oglesby goes in the middle for 2. Holmes and Kwiatkowski on the tackle.
Good field position for Oregon State. 2nd and 8 at the 47. Here comes Clemens on a reverse. He's going to break a tackle and go for 18 yards.
He's in pretty good shape on it. We had Freddie Small. We actually had him in a charge, so he was upfield, but he had to make the people play. We didn't have a lot of people over here. And finally, Pearson and Jackson make the play. But as you mentioned, 18 yards. It's a big play for Oregon State.
Right there, he breaks a tackle from Fred Small, gets into the clear, and J.C. Pearson coming up and is going to get it. So 18 yards, 1st and 10 for Oregon State at the Washington 29. That quieted the crowd down just a little bit.
Yeah, the home fans won't cheer much when the other team's moving the ball. And of course, they get penalized here for illegal use of the hands. Hill, Kelly, Holmes, Small in on the tackle.
As you say, holding, you can come up with that just about any play.
Yeah, you just, you know, you can't be flagrant. You can't be flagrant when you're down, and we've just gotten carried away. It was a draw play, and they lose 2, Holmes and Small again. 2nd
and 14 at the 33. And this is going to be Holmes. He's going to get 16 on this.
This is that slip screen I mentioned they put in for us, and it's a good play for him. Vesty Jackson finally made the tackle, and we'll get better at it. We'll see it a couple more times, and they came right back to it, as a matter of fact. And they did it to the weak side rather than the strong side. It's not quite as good a play, and they lose 6.
So 2nd and 16 at the 23. And the ball batted in the air. Good defensive play.
Well, this was Lynn Madsen. And then had good pressure. And, well, those things, you never know when that ball might be a completion.
Oh, that's right. Another one just off the fingertips right there to Laverty, incomplete. All-Britain covering. So it brings up 4th down and 16. It's 23. And you're going to get out of this okay.
Yeah, we were very fortunate to turn the ball over like we did. And at midfield, the 49-yard line, and get out of there with no points. So that's a great job by the defense.
So Washington takes over now as the kick is no good to the right. 1st and 10 at the 23, their own 23. Cookie Jackson, watch this. He bounces in and it bounces to the outside, and he puts on a burst of speed and goes for 25.
Well, this was just an off-tackle play, and I think it was probably a play block ball enough to make 4 or 5 yards. And we've been trying to get our backs to run hard, run at the point of attack, and give our offensive lineman a chance. And Cookie does that. Says, well, get all I got in there. Might as well get outside and try and get some more.
I don't want to crawl over anybody's back.
And that's just good balance, and that's good heady running.
He does, and he cuts down the sideline, and for a second, it looked like he just might be able to have enough speed to go all the way. A good angle knocks him out.
They had Stubblefield had a good angle, and Stubblefield's a good hitter, too.
He bounced him pretty good. 1st and 10 at the 48. Hunt for a couple of yards.
This is the play that we just gained 22 on a minute ago. We had to use up 2 blockers on 1 defender, and that hurt us.
Pallure. Stransky. Is it out of bounds?
It's out. There's no question about it, but it's a game of inches, and just probably a few more inches been a big completion.
3rd and 8 at the midfield. Pallor to Stransky. This time it will be good for 13, and he really takes a pop right there.
Well, they've got one of their players that really doesn't know that there's a completion, and he was kind of pinned in. Here we're pulling guards, and we're running into each other. We've got our guards running into our quarterback, and that's just real sloppy offense. We've just got to protect it. We did it last week, and it's something we've got to do. We're going to fumble later on because of it.
2nd and 5, you pick up 9. Hunt gets 9. Now you get a first down. The Oregon State 23. You're moving the ball pretty well.
Ernest and Dodson had good blocks.
But here, you kind of lose.
Yeah, we get a toss sweep, and we get, we don't get the right call in. We're supposed to have what we call a T call and block it a little differently than we did. This was a new play for us. It's Statue of Liberty, and Cookie's outside for 2 and falls. Could have picked up another 5, 6, or 7.
3rd and 10 now at the 23. And Pallor back to throw, and he is going to be hit from the backside. The ball comes loose, and Mowry falls on it.
And he did the same thing that he did a while ago. He can feel the heat. He's got to know people are in there, and he's starting to scramble, but you can't scramble with the ball right there. It's got to be locked away when you're going to start to move and get out of there. You can still lock it away and come out and throw the ball.
So Jaeger comes in, attempts a 45-yard field goal, and the guy with the good leg just going to miss this time. And you're going to have to settle at the end of the first quarter for a 7-0 lead. What are your feelings about that first quarter?
Well, we did some good things and did some bad. We're trying hard. We're playing hard. The 3 points there would have obviously been a great help, but the defense has had a pretty good first quarter. They got us off the hook on a key fumble.
Oh, talk about fumbles. You'll see them coming up. Second quarter. Oregon State's ball. 3rd and 8 now at the 42. Oglesby, they get it to him, and he moves to the outside and picks up 10.
This is another screen. This is a little bit unlike the one they had been running, but we've not been a good screen team. We'll start to play a little bit better, I think, as the game wears on.
That's Oglesby again for 1. They just want to get him the football. 2nd and 9.
Good play by Stuart Hill, excuse me.
47. Kendrick under pressure, and that's going to be Dean Browning that finally gets him.
Well, Len Madsen had him, and by missing the tackle, instead of an 8-yard loss, we get a 12-yard loss. But see, Len's got, you can see ducks underneath it. He just
right
got to get down, wrap up, and now there comes Dean from the outside.
That's hard to believe. You reach your arms around there, and there's nobody there because you haven't goal.
Where'd it go?
3rd and 21 at the 41. McKentrick throwing a little bit too long.
That was it was a quick post, and it was close. Robert Leapart came underneath it, so if he catches it, we're in trouble.
Stenbeck punting, good for 41 yards. Green will finally pick it up on a bounce here, and boy, there's nothing there.
It was good for 41 yards because it was an ugly kick. It just got a lot of roll, and we couldn't get to it, so they got about 10 yards on the roll.
Sterling Hines in the ball game, picks up 11 yards.
This is a well-blocked play. This Lutu, Mallory, Patterson all had good blocks, and that's the way you'd like to be able to run off tackle.
1st and 10 at the 30. Rick Finney, number 30 for 4.
And Mallory, Brosey, and Maher give him a chance. Good first down play, 4 yards.
2nd and 6. Here comes Finney again, this time for 8 yards. That's his longest gain, I think, as a Husky right
Mallory
there.
and Maher there. And again, they're giving him a chance, and Rick's just got to realize how strong he is, and he can start punching a hole in some of those defensive backs. Now, this is a bootleg pass that we come back and we really freeze that inside linebacker with the fake. You can see number 58, he's really going for the fake, and now we come out and throw a pass right in his area. Now, this is, a lot of people have been doing this to us all season, but it's the thing you look for in a bootleg type play.
To Lutu for 12 yards and a first down at the Oregon State 46. Hines picks up only 1.
Trap play in Oregon State played it very well.
2nd and 9 at the 45. Come back to Sterling Hines again. And it's on a burst of speed. It just bounces off.
That's what we've got to get more of right there. And we've got guys who can do that. This is a statue play again that we put in the game, as I mentioned. It's a 10-yard gain. Finney and Mallory make good blocks. Now, there's Finney right there, and there's Mallory leading out here, and he'll chop the cornerback.
Now watch this. He'll run right through him. Boom. Oh, that makes a coach smile, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what you got to get. You pick up, instead of fumbling or going backwards, you pick up another 3 or 4 yards.
So 1st and 10 at the 35. Finney straight ahead. You see a flag go down. The Huskies, illegal use of the hand.
This is the start of the destruction, I think, of our offense.
And destruction in a hurry. 1st and 14.
You don't pick up a blitz, and I thought maybe he intercepted a pass. I guess they thought he hit the ground, but he made a very good play on the ball. It's Taylor.
2nd and 14.
This is a disaster play. You know, the formation was wrong, called wrong, nothing right about it. And we only lose 5 yards. Maybe we're lucky. We probably should have lost the ball.
3rd and 19 at the 44.
Again, we don't block well. And we got Steve out scrambling. Comes back and spots Leroy Lutu in the middle, and that gets a little bit dangerous, but it's a 12-yard gain, and he could see Leroy was wide open.
The whole rhythm's gone. Everything's gone right now. 4th and 7. You go for it at the 32. Pelor to the outside, and he really is going to take a pop. Boom.
Came close to the first down, and there was a little bit of a breeze, and we just, we wondered if we could kick it into that. So that's not a bad place to leave it. Our defense is in pretty good shape. Came right up with a great play. Vince Albritton strips the ball carrier on a sweep, and J.C. Pearson recovers.
So the Huskies have it now. 1st and 10 at the 24, but watch what happens here as the play again. We're just going to strip it out of High's
hand. Got the ball
hand.
in that inside arm, and we don't like our ball carriers to do that. And I don't think he'd have fumbled if he had the ball where it's supposed to be on the outside arm.
On the outside.
And I'm sure, Coach Avanzano was telling him the same thing.
Huskies come right back, and look at this. They fumble, but Dotson finally recovers it.
Yeah, we get good blocks in there. A couple guys, Dotson, good block, but we come right back and fumble it back. And then one thing about Lance Dotson, he's always downfield. He goes for the second block, and he makes a good recovery for us.
Good for 9 yards. Not in the playbook, but you get 9. 2nd and 1, hunt for 4, and you get the first down at the 11.
Again behind Dotson and Brosi. And here we got just a great play block inside, and Cookie just feels like he can get a little bit more outside. He gets 4. It's not a bad, it works out. But then we're going to come back, and we miss a block. The defender upfield, and he strips the ball out. So we turn it over with a 2nd and 6 on the 7. We're just taking ourselves out of points on the board. This is a must-score area. Got to get something on the board. We don't.
Now, is that just holding the ball wrong, or is that just a good hit, or what?
Well, like I say, it's just poor concentration on our part and poor block on our part. We should not let people in our backfield start with, and we should not fumble the ball.
1st and 10 for Oregon State now at the 12. Here comes Holmes for 3.
Pretty well good hit by Holmes, Browning, Krakowski.
2nd and 7. Oglesby over the center for 6.
Krakowski and Kelly on the tackle. Again, he runs up in there.
And Oregon State's going to get a penalty called against him. Now it's 3rd and 6. McKendrick's going to throw it over the middle. This time to Oglesby for 5. But they're short of the first down.
Well played by Krakowski. It's an underneath route, and that's what you're supposed to do, react on it.
Now, watch this play. Now, I wasn't sure who in the world the ball hit here. It's going to hit a Husky.
Well, it either hit Alan James right there. It may have hit, I think maybe Ron Miles, but we all thought that Danny was going to catch it. And
he just backed away from it at the last second.
And there was someone in his road. One of our guys got blocked back up into him, so he decided not to make a tough catch, and it apparently raked one of us. I'm not sure just who.
So Oregon State has the football. 1st and 10 at the 40. Robert Leapart's going to pick this up. He's going to return it 29 yards.
Well, this is the kind of breaks that we've got to start making on the ball. We didn't do that as well in the early games, and Robert just does a great job. He reads the quarterback's eyes, jumps on the pattern, moves in front of the receiver, and gets us another great turnover. This is, again, the thing that the defense had not done for a while, to help the offense. Now there you can see Oglesby catching up to Robert, and that's just it's a great turnover, great field position.
So that's good for 29 yards, as we'd mentioned. 1st and 10 now for the Huskies. And Pelor throwing to the outside to Tony Roten. That's good for 11. Should say Tony Roten's 21st birthday yesterday, right?
Yeah, he had a good day. Got a pass there, makes a key first down, and he also will catch a touchdown pass later on. It's a good move by Tony here. You can see where the marker is, and this gets upfield.
Gets the first down. 1st and 10 at the Oregon State 34. Finney for a couple of yards. Now, Washington on the move again. You would think you should have had touchdown before.
Good play by Gonzalez there on Oregon State's defense. Makes a good tackle. Steve throws us in there pretty well, and these are ones we've got to catch.
Illegal receiver. What was this?
Center got down a little bit. It was, he was down. It didn't have any effect on the play. And sometimes when play action passes that go out, you can lose sight of where you are. We were guilty of the infraction.
Tony Roten picks up 12. You need 13. Pelor dives ahead for 2, and you get the first down at the Oregon State 23.
So there we got penalized. We were able to make it up. Now we come back with a bootleg pass right here, and just a little bit too high, but everything else was there. It was blocked. The route was there.
A little bit too high. 2nd and 10 at the 23. Pelor coming back this time to Stransky. And he's out of bounds after picking up 6.
And they're offside, so we decided to get a 2nd and 5 rather than a 3rd and about 3.
I thought your young freshman fullback was going to score right here. Finney to the outside.
Yeah, he just fell down. He could have gotten a lot more than what he did. He could have at least gotten 2 or 3 more yards right there. And those are big yards down here. But Stransky got an excellent peelback block right here. You'll see this coming right in here. Bang.
Boom. He does.
And Rick just lets his feet fall off now. But he's got to, just work up in the field a little bit more. Take on some people and run some people down.
Now, 1st and goal at the 7. What happens? The ball is loose, and Oregon State recovers.
Kind of what you expected to happen, isn't it, Bruce?
Absolutely. After what had happened before.
It's a self-destruction. When you're going to let it happen? And they come in and they get a good hit. No question about it. But it's still not an excuse for us ever to fumble.
They give away 2 touchdowns now. You've been down there inside the.
And one thing you can say about it is that's one that was a contact fumble.
So Oregon State has the ball. That's why coaches lose hair, get gray, isn't that right?
That's right.
Okay, for 4. 2nd and 6 at the 16. Oglesby at center for 2, but penalty against Oregon State on the play.
Illegal use of the hands.
So
Madsen and Browning on attack.
So that's going to bring up 2nd and 13 at the 9. Oglesby, if you think it goes on, this course, not quite through yet.
Played pretty well right here, but we have a 15-yard face mask penalty. And again, it's just we got to get down and break down and tackle, and we can't grab face masks.
So 1st and 10 for Oregon State at the 29. They're going to try to run it again. Oglesby at left tackle, as you see, for 5.
Small and Kelly, and again, we're not really sure what they're doing. It looks like they're just going to run the ball and try to get some field position before they open up. So they go for 7 more there, Small and Kelly again. 1st
down as he picks it up. 1st and 10 at the 41. And just misses on a pass there, so it's going to bring up 2nd and 10 at the 41. Time running out in the 1st half. So what do? They go deep. Boom.
Pretty good shape on the pass, and it looked like rather than wrapping up, we were doing what we call butt off. And probably J.C. Pearson got knocked off of the tackle by the hit of Robert Leapart.
You'll see it again now. There's to Clements. The 2 defenders.
See, Robert Leapart was butting off. He wasn't wrapping up, and that's a very critical tackling area.
And you've got to get the arms around him.
You don't go in there like that just trying to butt a guy. That's how you block. Tackle.
Not tackle. It costs you a touchdown. They had the extra point, and as you left the field with the score tied 7-7, there were boos in the stands.
I can't imagine why anybody would do that exhibition of football, Bruce.
You can't imagine why they would do that.
Such a splendid first half on our part.
I want to talk to you in a minute about what in the world you told those people at halftime. We'll be back with our halftime feature and talk with Don some more right after. Back, a guy I'm sure you all remember, and for good reason, because he won the Most Valuable Player Award in the Rose Bowl twice. His name, Bob Slurett. They called them the Purple Gang in 1959 and 1960, and all they did was put together the best back-to-back seasons in modern Washington football history. They won 20 of 22 games, including 2 Rose Bowls, and changed Husky football for all time's sake. The quarterback and team leader was Bob Slurett. And number 15 says they won because they were in better shape than any team they played.
Fourth quarter come, we'd be standing on the benches and saying, "This is our quarter." Some of you guys may have won the first quarter or the second, but the fourth quarter is ours.
And it was, time and time again. But it took players like Bob Slurett to make it happen.
My junior year, I averaged 56 minutes a ball game playing in conference ball games, and played 60 minutes against Stanford and 58 against SC, and punted the ball and was leading the nation at the time in punting. And so, my other statistics, if they saw me throw the football, maybe my junior year, well, maybe they wouldn't have selected me All-American. But I worked real hard between the end of the season and Rose Bowl time. Yeah.
So it didn't go end over end?
Yeah, so it didn't go end over end. It was someone mentioned that, and I got to thinking about it, and I decided, well, I'd spend an extra 5 or 10 minutes in practice working on throwing.
But end over end throw or not, Slurett was a winner. But the first Husky ever to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated says he was just trying to survive those tough practice sessions of the Owens era.
Being selected All-American was just a complete surprise, came completely out of left field. And it had nothing to do with any thoughts of what took place during the season, any talk of the ball team. And we were just happy to be winning at that time and worrying about the next ball game. And then I walked into the little coach's shack one day, as I recall, and Jim was walking down the hall, and he, didn't even take me back in his office. He just said, "I just thought I'd like to know that you're selected as AP All-American this year."
What was your reaction?
Well, my reaction was I thought he was kidding me, you know. It was the furthest thing from my mind. And really, I think what happened was just that they had to choose someone on the team because we were doing so well. And I was the quarterback and may as well get started with somebody. And I think that had a lot to do with it.
The former Gresham, Oregon high school star not only led the Huskies to a 9-1 season in 1959, but then shocked the football world by directing his team to a one-sided 44-8 win over Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl. It was only the second win by a West Coast school over a Big Ten opponent in the Tournament of Roses Classic in the 14 years prior to 1960. But then to prove that it wasn't just a fluke, the Huskies returned to the Rose Bowl the following year and defeated the #1 team in the country at that time, Minnesota, 17-7. And Bob Surrett, who missed the final 4 games of the regular season because of an injury, came off the bench to lead the Huskies to victory and win the Rose Bowl Most Valuable Player Award again.
I felt all the pressure at that time more so than before, because the first year no one was expecting us to win anyway, and anything we did was fine. The second year, everyone expected us to win, and then I hadn't been playing for 4 games, and it just seemed to be, plus we're playing a lot tougher ball team, and everything seemed to be right there in the line, and I just decided to go after it, and not only for the team-wise, but just one of those things that from my competitive nature, just wasn't going after the Most Valuable Player Award, just trying to perform, you know, get the team moving. And
just get it moving and win.
Yeah, and we ended up getting 17 points that game, and I had the 2 longest runs of the game.
Bob Surrett cherishes those 2 awards because he was the first player ever to win the award twice. But he still feels that he had a shot at even a bigger award if he hadn't been injured and missed the end of his senior season.
That time, the Heisman Trophy had never been won on the coast, and Terry Baker won it a few years later. And at that time, they didn't do as much talking about it preseason and during the seasons or in the freshman year type of thing. I mean, it was something that was done after the end of the season. There was a lot of talk about it. But I was in contention for it that year, and I really believe that if I had not been injured and had a type of season that I had as a junior, that I would have probably won that award. That's what I was told by, you know, the press people, at least in my area. They may have been blowing smoke at me, but I was in high consideration, obviously, at that time. And not being in the last 4 ball games kind of did it.
And I've got some Husky posters, some team posters, and some Husky Fever bumper stickers for everybody.
The former Husky star, who was also an assistant coach at Washington under Jim Owens for 11 years, is now working for the Nestle Company. He's the area manager, selling products to non-profit organizations, then helping those groups generate money through fundraising activities. And that means he has a close association with youngsters. And before every Husky home game, it is All-American Bob Surrett who walks the young football players down the tunnel to the field, where they get together to play a preliminary game. And the show? Well, it's always a crowd pleaser. There probably isn't a youngster there who really knows anything about the quarterback and the team that Husky fans will always talk about. The team that won 2 Rose Bowls in a row.
Our team will be remembered, I think, as a special team because of that. And, because we did it when no one else had done it before. It was a first time around. And there can be a lot of teams from now on that do it, but doing it the first time and the second, no one will have those. And it's...
I'll tell you, it was something special. Really something special for them. Next week, the center on that 1961 Rose Bowl team, Roy McKesson. Now, let's talk about a little more football. 7-7 at halftime against Oregon State. What did you tell your team to get them going in the second half?
Well, we had experienced a lot of problems, obviously, in the second quarter, and I could tell going up the tunnel and going in the locker room that as a team we were not pulling together. You know, there were a lot of chirping and complaining and barking, and I felt a real strong need as a coach and the staff. We felt to bring the team together. There's a little button, don't push the panic button, and that we can handle Oregon State. We just go out and not make mistakes, and we'll be just fine. And that was the approach we took.
And it happened. Oh, it was true. We'll be back with a second half kickoff right after. And at their back, and they made a mistake.
Well, somehow or other the captains got confused, and that's one of the disadvantages of having game captains. They don't get the experience of going out there, and it sounds so simple, but it is confusing. And they wanted to kick off. We got the ball, we got the win.
You did, and watch what happens. Jock Robinson comes in, and you'll see here he should go for everything here on this play and almost get it to Danny Green.
Now this was not a plan to go deep on him in the second play, but it was just something that Steve read, and it was a good route, and he just about had the ball right on the money.
One of the best runs you probably ever see. Watch this. Jock Robinson. He just keep bouncing off people, and I thought he was going to be down there.
That was good balance, really good balance there. And you know, it's great to see Steve Fuller down there.
Yes,
40, 50 yards
right.
down blocking. And that was really really tremendous. You know, Maher, Mallory, Brosey, Dotson, Fuller all got good blocks, and that you know, we've got enough talent, I think, in our backfield. If we just give them a chance, we can get some runs like this.
Here he comes.
Real good cut right here. Gets outside. And he makes a decision here. I think it probably confused them as much as anybody when he decided to come back inside on this one, cut against the grain, and just broke a tackle. And
Lance is running along there saying, "You're still going to run, huh?"
And now you can see where Steve Fuller had gone down with Dave Stransky to help out.
Oh, he just gets tripped up down at the 5-yard line. What a run. 68 yards for Jock Robinson. Now, no game, but you're going to be offside.
That is just incredible. I said, you know, what are we going to do, fumble now or get a penalty? We got a penalty.
So now 2nd and goal at the 10. Walt Hunt running to the outside, only for 1. Now, all at once after that great gain, you come up with 2nd and goal at the 9. And come back to Jock Robinson again.
We hammer in there with an off-tackle play, which is pretty good, but it still leaves us 5 yards to go, and so we've almost got to throw. It's 3rd and 5 down. Here's a long yardage.
Ballure throws to Tony Roten.
Picks up Tony, and this was a real key, important drive for us. You know, to get that big run of Jocks, and you know, if we go down there and don't get anything on the board, we've really given them a lift.
7-7 at this time. Throws a bullet right there to the tight end, and Tony Roten with the touchdown. And you imagine you breathe just a little easier after
If I'd known that was his birthday, I'd have sung happy birthday to him right there.
Right there. Jagger adds the extra point. It is 14-7 in favor of Washington. Now, the teams exchange kicks. Nobody can move the football. Pick up action now. Oregon State has it. 1st and 10 at their own 20. Oglesby hit pretty good for no gain.
Good defensive series. A good play by Browning and Small.
2nd and 10 for the Beavers at the 20. McKendrick back to throw. Son of a former Oregon State player, incidentally. It was a little bit too long.
And line coach for the
49ers.
Yeah.
Yes.
They went deep, and Vesey Jackson had good coverage.
3rd and 10 at the 20. Under pressure, ball batted in the air, and you brought everybody that time.
We had a blitz on, and I believe Ronnie Holmes might have put the pressure on.
Number 90, Ronnie Holmes. 4th and 10 at the 20. Stebick to kick, and a high kick good for only 20 yards. The ball's going to roll dead. Now, you had a personal foul penalty on this.
Yeah, we got a hit right there, and you know, and the player just kind of flipped his hand. Didn't try to hit him. But he went with his hand out like that, and that's a penalty. You know.
That's a penalty.
Dumb, real dumb.
There were some dumb things in this game. 1st and 25 at the 46. Ballure throwing incomplete to Green. 2nd and 25.
Back to Statue, and going to pick up about 8 again on this. Pretty good play for us. It's a play that Arizona ran last year early, and we also get the advantage of a late hit right there.
Okay, Jock almost is tripped up. Now, keep an eye when he runs out of bounds here and see where the late hit is, and you can see it.
Number 21 just pushes him right there, and you know, it's not a vicious hit or a hard hit or anything, but it's still out of bounds, so it's illegal. It's about as bad as the one that gave them the 15 yards.
So you're even right now, even with the ball. Huskies have it. I think they didn't get you first down. It was 3rd and 2 at the 31, and Hunt for 3 yards, and he'll get the first down. Washington moving the ball to the Oregon State 28 now, 1st and 10 there. Here comes Jock. Now, feeling about putting Jock in the second half.
Well, you know, he said we're going to reevaluate at halftime, and our first 2 tailbacks had both fumbled the ball, and so we just felt like we'd go ahead and give Jock a chance to play. Come back with Walt Hunt. You know, Robinson gets a good block here. This is the play we talked about in the first half where the tailback blocks the tackle. You can see he's got him right there. He's got him down. Walt makes a good cut back inside the other linebacker, and this big play, you know, it's 17 yards down here.
Well, Hunt had a big day carrying football. It's good for him. Jock Robinson, the right side, touchdown.
Got good blocks by Lutu, Brosey, and Walt Hunt, and we get another shot at this. It's just an off-tackle play. I'm sorry, this is a sweep play that we turn off tackle.
And Jock just runs through them.
You know, breaks a tackle and gets it in the corner of the end zone.
And Jock has size, too.
Yeah, he can make you miss. You know, you give him a chance to get going.
So Jagger adds the extra point. It's Washington 21, Oregon State 7. As you see, still 7:14 to play. in the third quarter. The coach on the sideline, you're not smiling, but you're feeling better at least.
Yes, I feel like now getting a couple opportunities to get something on the board, that the way our defense is playing, that we can play well now.
Terrell
Kickoff,
returns it.
16-yard kickoff, Lacey Walker on the tackle.
So 1st and 10 at the Oregon State 16. McKendrick, still a quarterback. He's the only one they have. Throws incomplete. Talk about the pressure on a young man coming into a game.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a big game, big crowd, and we put a lot of pressure on. We elected to blitz them a lot. This is the screen pass they had thrown so well in the first half, and we played it very well. Actually, Holmes lost one there with Small, Browning, and Madsen on the tackle.
3rd and 11 at the 15.
Good pressure.
Breaks the tackle, and it's going to pick up only 4.
Again, this is where we work together. We got good pressure. He elects to run. Now we can come out of our zone drops and just come in and swarm the quarterback.
You make a change. Michael Collins comes in now as the punt returner, and watch what he does. Ooh.
Well, first of all, he got a lot more running room than Danny Green did earlier.
That's right. Now, you have to say that to begin with.
That helps, but the thing that we talked about is Michael probably would have had a good chance to be our punt returner and hurt his finger, but he gets out of there a little bit quicker than Danny does. They're probably equal in straightaway speed, but he's got a little initial quickness. And so we get a chance to get something going here. It's by the first time the punt return is back. It's 40 yards.
And what a difference it makes. What a difference.
How would you like to play offense, the ball on the first down to 13? Puts you in 4-down territory. Robinson for 6, behind Brosey and Dotson.
So now, 2nd and 4 at the 7. Here's Pallure back, loses the football and loses 4. Not a good day for Steve Pallure.
Well, it's sloppy offense again because our guards are pulling so deep, and it's something we've got to work out as a coaching staff and get it corrected. Steve's got to have a chance to get out of there. No excuse to fumble, but when guards are banging him in the backfield, there's something wrong.
Stransky for only 2 brings up a 4th and 6, and you can see here's the field goal, the 27-yarder with Jagger kicking it through, and you pick up 3 points, 24-7.
And that's fine. We'd like to have gotten a whole lot more out of that with that great punt return, but now we make them score 3 times to beat us, and you can see Jeff comes right back and really drills another kickoff.
So 1st and 10 for Oregon State now at the 20, and the Huskies still have another chance to get on the scoreboard coming up here in a minute. As Holmes running to the outside for 7.
This was a weak side toss sweep, and it's pretty well done by Oregon State. Give him credit.
2nd and 3. Oglesby.
He's a tough guy.
He's tough.
We had a couple of big guys, 240 and 230, miss him, and had good shots at him.
He gets 8 yards and a first down at the 35. Now here's a team that just struggles to win, and a guy like Oglesby in there that just plays hard all the time.
All our kids do. That's one thing Joe's got them doing. The guys he's got them. They want to play football, and they really get after it. Their Holmes does a great job of tipping the ball. We almost intercepted.
3rd and 8. Kendrick throwing. Tipped away at the last second.
Good play defensively by Jimmy Rogers. Cut right underneath the out route.
Now, he was in a lot because that was kind of a different scheme.
Yeah, he was in our nickel scheme this weekend. We can start working him in more. Now he's getting back, getting in shape.
4th and 8. Here comes Collins again. Up the middle. It breaks away, and this time for 30 yards.
Well, they have a net 2 on the punt, reminiscent of us against Navy. But it's a low line drive kick, and those are the kind that you really like as a punt returner. The ball gets there long before the coverage people get there, and we did a good job. Our punt return people had some people delayed at the line of scrimmage and some good seal blocks.
So the Huskies now take over at the Oregon State 39, 1st and 10 there, and hunt for a couple of yards. Now you left your regular people in here, leading by a score 24-7.
Well, we need work. We've always been through there. We've been through it before. We've taken guys out and lost momentum too early and then struggle. Penn State did it Saturday against Alabama. We did it against Stanford out here. So we just, and plus, like I say, we need to work. We need to go out there and play a little bit.
So after that holding penalty that negates the 20-yarder there, DeFeo up the middle for 9, brings up 3rd and 9. And Pallure, well, you're going to get to Patterson. Now that looks pretty good, but you're going to have another call against him.
Yeah, we're going to have to make up some plays here. We're going to, I think we have to do this about 3 times. We throw a completion and get a penalty. Have to come back and throw another completion. And hits David Stransky here for 8.
This reminds me against LSU some of the problems you were having. So 4th and 6 at the 35, and watch this field goal, the 2nd longest in Washington history.
62-yarder. Could have been 62 or 70. Wasn't any question about having enough legs.
Oh, he drills it clear into the screen behind. The Huskies lead it 27-7 at the end of the third quarter. With a guy like that to kick the ball that far, that must make you feel good. I mean, it gives you another element. You're worried about losing Chuck Nelson.
Well, I'm still worried about losing Chuck Nelson. He's a pretty good kicker, but I think what it does, it gives you an opportunity on final drives before the half, before the end of the game. You don't have to get it into the 15 or 20-yard line to have a chance to make a field goal, and that's the gratifying thing.
Huskies get on the scoreboard one more time in the fourth quarter. We'll show you that. Husky Stadium yesterday afternoon. Oregon State with the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 38. And Holmes is going to be hit a couple of times.
Browning finally got him, but we had some other people around point of attack, picked up one.
2nd and 9. Clemens to the outside, going to lose 5.
A counter reverse play, and we were in good position. He tried to make a cut and couldn't do it.
3rd and 14.
It's good execution here. It's right on the money. It's to Kittrick to bind him for 13, and we couldn't get underneath it.
So 4th and 1 at the 47, and a good keeper and a good fake. He's going to pick up 3.
That's just a little option play off of 4th and 1. It's good call. It got a lot of our guys fooled.
1st and 10 at midfield. McKendrick on to Laverty. Ooh.
Ron Hadley had it right in his hands, but if he'd caught it the first time, he might have had to put away, but he bobbled it, and then he got hit.
2nd and 10. Throwing to Laverty again. This is incomplete.
Yeah, that's a little tight end delay, and we had a blitz on.
So 3rd and 10. You come right back to the air again, trailing 27-7, and
we came
after him pretty good.
Right back to the blitz, and Ron Hadley comes in free, and the quarterback doesn't have a chance. We can come free. You can see right there, both linebackers are hitting inside gaps.
Oh boy!
They're back. Oglesby tried to pick them up, but it was too late. Ron's about 230, and he has good speed.
So a loss of 10 brings up 4th and 20, and they will kick the ball away, and not the best kick in the world. And when it begins to go bad, it really goes bad late in the ball game.
They just gave up 70 yards in returns. Now they get a 20-yard kick there.
So 1st and 10 for Washington at the Husky 40. Hunt straight ahead for 3. And 2nd and 7 at the 43. And you're thinking now, just get the ball down, get 3 or 7 or whatever.
Yeah, we feel like we don't want to give up yet with the number 1s. Danny Green does a good job there against Steve Red man coverage. There was no one in the post, so we let Danny right into the center of the field.
This good for 41 yards and just throws a strike. And if he keeps his feet, he's got a touchdown.
Yeah, that's one thing we tried to get our receivers to do, and I think Danny felt like he might have to lay out for that ball and lost his balance.
So 1st and 10 now at the 16. Jock Robinson breaking tackles and runs all the way down to the 3.
This is the toss sweep, 13-yard gain. Again, we have a good call on this time. We've got the right call on blocking-wise. Our tight end comes down, our tackle pulls out, and of course Jock breaks a couple tackles. If he gets going, he's got the strength to do that.
See when he gets going. Hunt trying to spin away and get into the end zone. No gain. 2nd and goal.
Well played by the Beavers. Well, they were really solid into that time. They were some big, tough defensive linemen that played pretty good.
There's Jock. And we hit just short of the goal line. So 3rd and goal at the 1. So what do you do?
Broughton and Mallory are going to get good blocks here. Just a toss sweep. It goes inside.
Here it is. Get another look at it again.
Walt Hunt's going to kick out.
Mallory 55, and Jock just puts his head down and goes in. Jagger comes in, going to kick it right at you. The extra point. Washington defeats Oregon State by a score of 34-7, a game that was tied 7-7 at halftime, and very interesting game. Now, again, you put in your reserves the last 10 minutes, and everybody got a chance to play in the ball game, and I'm sure you wanted to do that too. Just give them a chance to play.
Well, we've not had many opportunities this year. We've had to stay with 1s, and and 1s need to work, but we also need to bring along some of the younger players, and getting players healthy, and getting Richard Barber to come along, a young freshman safety, getting Jimmy Rogers back, Michael Collins back, and now we'll get Meammer back. So that really helps the depth a little bit. Then getting the young players a chance to play.
Jock Robinson, 121 yards yesterday. Gets them all in the second half. Is he back now, or is that still that same thing between all those running backs? Well,
we're not going to change our coaching. We're going to, the guys practice, they go out and play, and whoever plays the best is going to play the next week. So, I would assume on the game that he had Saturday that he would get the starting nod for this next week. But it's like I say, nothing changes. You get what you deserve.
We'll be in the locker room, talk to the Husky players. Right. We go in the locker room, talk with the players. This is what they had to say about the win over Oregon State.
They're a tough team. They they took it to us first half there, but we came back pretty good, so I felt pretty good about second half.
Felt that, you know, they came out and tried to play the best of their ability, and, you know, it was a tough game. Just that second half, you know, we stopped making the turnovers offensively, and things just started to click, but they never let up.
That was our plan today, is to really get our special teams back together, you know, because, you know, the tradition is we've been doing pretty good, especially my last 2 years here. We've been doing pretty good. That's all I've been playing, but we're trying to get it back together here now, and today's the day.
A little closer all the time.
Yeah, a little closer. We'll get it next week.
You know, we were marching up and down the field and just, you know, giving up the ball.
What's the problem when you give up the ball like that? A good hit or not putting it away, concentration or what?
Well, I'd have to say it's concentration, and, you know, sometimes a good hit can, you know, make the ball come out, but most of the time it's just concentration. You know, you're concentrating on running hard, and you're really not, you know, holding on to the ball that good.
We were moving the ball pretty good on the defense, and we just really had to get somebody that can hold on to the ball and just stick it up in there.
That long run really got everybody going.
Oh, yeah, it was a pretty tiring run.
What are you feeling? Did you feel when you kicked the ball it was going to go through?
Yeah, I knew it as soon as I hit it, and I knew I had the distance. I just wanted to make sure it was straight, and looked up, and there it was.
Now, can you believe the year you're having so far? You're just drilling the ball out of the end zone. You get a 52-yarder. It's some kind of year for a guy who walked on.
It's great. I just love it.
That's your first touchdown as a Husky, right?
Very first, 21st birthday. Couldn't have had a better present.
It certainly couldn't. You were excited. Now, what did you think about the ball game about Oregon State?
Well, I think we made a lot of mistakes in the first half and kept them in the ball game. And Coach James has told us to come out in the second half, execute, and, you know, we did. We're a better team, and we showed it in the second half.
We're back, talk about Stanford next week, and look at the Pac-10 right after this. Open conference play, the win over Oregon State last week. Conference action really picked up. Take a look at the conference games right now. SC over Washington State. They did it by scoring 21 points in the second half. Oregon over California. What a surprise, Don.
A couple of trick plays, I understand, that really helped Oregon.
It certainly did. 24-17. Also in the Pac-10, UCLA defeats Stanford, and you play Stanford. Stanford's 0-5 now, first win for the Bruins. Arizona over Colorado State outside the conference, and Arizona State, they get a bye because Arizona State did not play, as you see, yesterday. Now, let's go to the games coming up this week. As you mentioned a moment ago, very, very important games. Arizona State at USC, UCLA at Washington State, Oregon at Arizona. Also in the Pac-10, Oregon State at California, and Stanford at Washington. Now, it becomes very, very important, doesn't it, right now, that certain teams win?
Well, this is really, I think, a weekend for the championship for a lot of teams. There are a number of teams that must win this week or they're out.
What about Stanford now? This is your next opponent. The Cardinals, they come to town. Here's a team that's 0-5. What's their problem, and are they as good, bad, or...
Well, you know, it's really hard to say exactly what all their problems are. We really haven't gotten into breaking down their film. We'll do that later on tonight. But I do know they've played a tough schedule. They've played a lot tougher schedule than we have, I think. And they've also been going with new quarterbacks.
Stanford hasn't changed that much, really, through the year, though. You expect them, I'm sure, to throw the football.
Yeah, I would think so. They went to a pro defense. They hired Oregon's coach, Andy Kristoff, and so we'll see a defense that's a little bit similar from what we've seen from Oregon the last few years.
Now, what about injuries? Do you have any injuries on your football team? Anybody beat up that will not be able to play against Stanford?
We were probably about as fortunate as we've ever been in the Oregon State game. Every player that played is slated to go either Monday or Tuesday. I think we may have two players that they may hold tomorrow just, you know, to keep from running, but we should be in great shape.
Glad to get that Oregon State game out of the way, I'm sure. Next week, Washington against Stanford. For Don James, I'm Bruce King. Good afternoon.